images captured by NASA's Perseverance rover on Mars. During its journey, it has discovered many strange objects.
On the planet's surface, it rolled its first rock sample from the Delta region,
Encountered what looks like a Martian spider, and collected an object resembling cat fur. So what are they really? What more terrifying thing caused Perseverance to stop? Perseverance made significant progress by crossing Hawksbill Gap, moving nearly 400 meters in 1 week. For the first time, Perseverance autonomously selected and analyzed 2 target rocks using automated software. In the future, NASA's research team plans to use this software more frequently, ensuring Perseverance doesn't miss anything interesting along the way. For over 4 months, Perseverance had an unexpected companion. A rock stuck in its left front wheel, traveling over 8.5 kilometers together. The rock caused no damage, but it seemed unwilling to leave. Hitchhikers. However, Perseverance's companion appears to be setting a record for distance traveled on Mars. In Area 451, the exploration rover headed toward the Delta summit. Scientists are particularly interested in the rock types in this area. However, Perseverance couldn't use its drill. In Area 452, the rover used a rock grinding tool to abrade the rock surface. Then, Perseverance used a gas-powered dust removal tool. Essentially, it's a compressed nitrogen gas box that emits 4 short bursts to clean off contaminants and dust. After checking the tool's condition, the control team commanded the rover
to photograph a freshly abraded location.
since the Martian environment can alter rock surfaces over time. The rock grinding tool is essential to help geologists get a clear view of what lies beneath the surface. You can see the dust wall surrounding the target thanks to the dust removal tool. While the fine-grained texture and slightly pink color indicate the presence of hematite. This rock only dented slightly when ground, meaning it wasn't suitable for drilling. This is unfortunate, as fine-grained material at East Ice is one of the best opportunities to search for preserved microbial life. Meanwhile, scientists on Earth processed data from Sol 148 and created this stunning animation. This was one of the windiest days Perseverance has ever encountered. It recorded hundreds of dust devils. Scientists estimate the rover directly encounters 4 dust devils per day, mostly during Martian noon. This is good news for our little helicopter friend Ingenuity, as wind can remove accumulated dust from its solar panels. This prevents potential low-energy threats in the future. Before the helicopter celebrated its 29th flight, Ingenuity is now trying to catch up with Perseverance. This map shows the Delta region along with some notable locations. The control team's plan is for both Perseverance and Ingenuity to advance through a clear channel to reach the Delta summit. Perseverance is currently in a very promising location. At the front of the Delta, the exploration rover is advancing and recording extraordinary images. This is the most interesting place Perseverance has ever surveyed. The rocks here look very strange, almost like what you'd expect from another planet. The control team has recorded data about the Mars rover for many years. But they claim they've never seen rocks like these before. Looking at the holes in this rock, do you think it's the product of Martian wind erosion over time? Or did water play a role in this process? Scientists won't be certain until they bring these samples back to Earth. On Sol 466,
The exploration rover captured a strange object.
It was a rock that looks like a snake's head. While social media speculated whether this might be an artifact from a snake-worshipping civilization on Mars. That wasn't the most interesting thing in this image. Pay attention to this rock. It appears to be balancing on a larger rock. That's the case, Could water have been involved in this process? Or is it something else entirely? A meteorite? Or perhaps it was placed there by Martians? In reality, it's difficult to distinguish whether this is balanced rock or just natural rock protruding from the main mass. As excitement grew around sampling from the delta, the NASA team shifted attention to bright material Perseverance detected on Sol 411. Images from Sol 464 show something resembling reflective foil. This could be debris left over from landing. SA problem. The team confirmed it. It likely came from the sky crane that flew away from Perseverance's landing site after touchdown. However, the crash occurred 2 kilometers southeast of this location. Possibly, the impact launched some material into the air. Then, it was blown here by wind. Images from Sol 0 show the plume generated by the impact. Such forces could theoretically launch material high, where it gets carried by wind. However, NASA believes this material might have just been blown by Martian wind after falling near the impact site. These 2 images, taken from slightly different angles, show the debris moving due to wind. On Sol 472, the rover abraded another rock to prepare for drilling, again on fine-grained material. Unfortunately, the rock cracked and slipped on the surface, making it unsuitable for drilling. While the control team decided which rock to try next, Perseverance was commanded to take high-resolution panorama images. This panorama contains 2.5 billion pixels and holds the record for the most detailed image taken on the Martian surface. Surpassing Curiosity's 1.8 billion pixel record, it highlights the front of the delta. The area where the control team hopes to collect core samples. On Sol 474, the control team was startled when they discovered something in a photo. They ordered Perseverance to examine it more closely. The object was also changing position, possibly due to wind. It resembled a string-like object, looking like a Martian spider. After careful examination, it was determined the object was actually spacecraft debris. It's a piece of Dacron mesh, based on the observed 2 by 2 mm mesh pattern. It seems this area is a natural landing spot for wind-blown debris. The NASA control team isn't concerned these debris threaten sample integrity or endanger the rover in any way. But the debris discovery made them think about the impact of future landings. To better manage debris, on Sol 477, the exploration rover encountered a rock nicknamed Betty's Rock. This type of rock would provide an impressive core sample, with layers telling the story of the area's distant past. However, unfortunately, the sedimentary layers in awkward shape meant the rover couldn't safely move its arm close to the rock. Perseverance took many close-up images, but would have to persevere to get the first core sample from the delta. A few days later, the control team identified a suitable area to use the rover's drill. This rock was named Skinner's Ridge, allowing Perseverance to take the first core sample from the delta. which would be incredibly valuable when the sample return mission brings it back to Earth. The 6.7 centimeters long core became the mission's longest core to date. This type of rock is softer than previously drilled rocks. It didn't crumble like previous delta rocks that were abraded and deemed unsuitable for drilling. After the successful coring campaign, routine inspection of the rover's drill revealed something strange. Images showed two small debris pieces, one on the core sample conveyor and one on the drill chuck. The NASA control team immediately investigated, taking many images from various angles. After moving the drill and checking that everything was still functioning normally, they felt assured to begin the mission. The cat hair-like object might be a small fragment from the landing collision. Since they had seen many similar objects in this area, but fortunately it posed no danger to the mission. At the end of the year 18, the rover was at a location called Windcat Risk and preparing to collect another core sample. Skinner Risk, where the rover took its first sample from the delta, could also be seen from this position. The NASA research team now wants the rover to move to a location called Enchanted Lake to continue exciting discoveries there.
Subscribe to the Unseen Realm channel.